Hey everyone, Dude is Jude here back with another Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel video, and today we're taking a look at the best Light versus Dark event decks in the game, and let's get started. So we have 7 decks here, and the Light versus Dark event is pretty interesting because you're gonna have to pick between a Light deck or a Dark deck, and you're gonna be facing the opposite attribute, and that's really interesting. So that opens up a lot of really good deck building, and that opens up a lot of really spicy decks. And we have 7 decks here that are really good, and I hope you really enjoy this one. So let's get started with our very first deck, and that is Danger Orcust DPE. So Orcust and Dangers have decent synergy with one another because Dangers have to discard randomly from your hand, and Orcus, if you discard an Orcus, you can activate them from the graveyard. If you discard something like Harp Horror, well, your Orcus plays are gonna get started. So we're adding a really tiny, not really tiny, but a pretty good danger engine. So two Jackalope, two Tsuchinoko, two Nessie, just for the discards. You have Skullmeister and DD Crow as the dark hand traps here. Armageddon Knight, Dark Greffer, both send cards to the graveyard or discard. So this allows you to just set up your graveyard even more. Of course, you have the Orcus Engine, 3 Harp Horror, 2 Gearsu, and 3 Orcus Nightmare, and 2 Symbol. I opted not to run Brass Bombard here, even though it can kind of get your play started, but I want to go for a clean 40. And then, apart from the Dangers and the Orcusts, we have Destiny Hero. We have the Fusion Destiny engine, so we're gonna build, we're gonna not build, we're gonna summon DPE with this. So we have Verte here for that, and we're gonna have 2 Malicious, 1 Denier just for that. And then, of course, the extra extender for Orcus, we have World Wand for recursion, and then Gizmic Orochi, just in case you want another body to reinforce your field. Orchestrated Return discards an Orcus and draws 2. Orchestrated Babel allows you to turn your graveyard effects into quick effects for Orcus. Called by the Grave because the light side has really good hand traps, you just want to stop them. Infinite Impermanence, really good generic hand trap, and you have a decent Omni Negate with Orcus Crescendo. For the extra deck, we have 2 Dingirsu, 3 Galatea, 1 IP Masquerena. IP Masquerena can make Nightmare Unicorn or Topologic Bomber Dragon, or you can even go Access Code to finish game. Coldbreaker Virus Swordsman, decent Link 2, just in case you need a generic one that has a decent attack stat. Dark to Dark Charmer is just here for link climbing. It can't really nab other darks because they're facing light decks. It's just there. And then 2 Gongirsu. So this is a really solid deck. It's really fun to play. I played this during I think Legend Anthology where the solo gate decks are featured, and this is really solid. This allows you to just have a decent board and combo, and pretty good combo deck that's really fun to play and really interesting. So first recommendation is Danger Orcus DPE for the Light versus Dark event. Next up, we have arguably, I think, one of the best light decks in this event. It's Drytron. So Drytron is pretty much all light and machine and fairy, and their main win con is to set up Herald of Ultimateness or Herald of Perfection and just set up negates by discarding enough fairies in their hand to keep you going and keep your opponent's board in check. So this is pretty good. It's a powerful negate board. And the engine here is pretty simple. 3 Alpha Tuban, 3 Gamma Eltanin, 3 Zeta Aldiba, and 3 Delta Altais. So you just need to max out your main Drytron names, and you can search them all with Cyber Emergency, or you can add them using Preparation of Rites, or you can special summon them using Drytron Nova, really handy. Of course, no Drytron deck is complete without the Benten. This allows you to have better recursion and help you get into your ritual summons easier. You have Drytron Meteonis Draconids, your boss monster for the Drytrons. And then you have your Herald of Ultimatus and Perfection for your negate board and kind of your actual main monster. You have Meteonis Drytron, which basically allows you to summon any ritual monster, which allows you to summon any of the three here. You're gonna have Pot of Prosperity for Generic Searcher, and then cross out Designator. Oops, we have a Forbidden card here. We're gonna add, let's just add an extra here. So yeah, let's go. Hand traps, 3 Veiler, 3 Imperm, just, and 2 Nibiru. So just a simple hand trap lineup here. Oh, we have 2 Diviner of the Herald, which allows you to just get more resources. And send fairies to the graveyard, which allows you to extend and search, get your ritual plays started even more. You have Herald of Orange Light and Green Light, which allows you to just have a really good negate and discards a fairy monster from your hand. Just really neat recursion there. For the extra deck, you have Elder Entity Entis, which allows you to just destroy a card. You can also set up Herald of the Arclight to have your own negate. And then we have Shamoji Soldier and Sylvan Princess Sprite for the rank 1s, and Mu Beta Fafnir, which allows you to shortcut some of your some of your ritual summons, which is awesome. You have Photon Strike Bouncer if you can make 2 level 6s, because you can make Beatrice, you can turn Diviner into level 6, so that's really neat. And then you have Utopic Future and Utopic Draco Future, because you can run multiple rank 1s. You can have 2 rank 1s in the same field and make UDF for extra negation. You can also have Zeus here, because it's arguably the best Light Xyz monster. It's a board wipe if you have enough materials on it. Herald of Mirage Lights, you can send 1 fairy monster to negate the activation, so you have a decent negate option alongside your heralds. Line is just here for link climbing. Raster Geiger, because you can't have access code. This is access code at home for the light decks. So yeah, Drytron is a really good ritual deck. It's probably the best ritual deck by far in this event. So if you want to run this, if you miss Season 1 Master Duel, be my guest. So, let's save this one first. Okay. Next, another really good light deck we have here is Exosister. So Exosister, well, it's a pretty powerful Xyz deck that sets up Exosister Michaelis and, allows you to OTK with Magnifica, and they have really good banish effects, and their effects, they can Xyz summon if you move a card out of the graveyard, so that's really great. And they have Exosister Marta, a really powerful starter, and since there's no Ash and Maxi, this could just special summon at will. So yeah, so for the Exosister engine, you have 3 Ellis, 3 Stella, 1 Irie, 2 Sophia, and 3 Marta. So just have as much Exosister names as possible. For the Exosister spells and traps, you have Carpe Divem, you have Exosister Pax for the ad, and then you have your Vadis and Returnia, which allows you to extend even more and have really powerful banish effects and disruption on your opponent's side. And then for hand traps, you have 3 Vader, 3 Ogre, 3 Nibiru, 3 Imperm, and yeah, you can have as many hand traps here because you have a lot of ways to start your Exosister plays. You also have Dimensional Fissure and Macrocosmos to prevent your opponent from using their graveyard too much. You also have Harpies here just in case you face back row decks, which a lot of dark decks can be. Pot of Prosperity for the generic search, and then Called By and Cross Out just to prevent hand traps. For the extra deck, you have Utopia Ray. I just added it here just in case it comes up. Exiton Knight for a board wipe. You have 3 Michaelis, 2 Caspital, 2 Jibrine, 2 Asophiel, and 3 Magnifica, and then of course 1 Zeus. So Exosister is a really powerful combo deck. This is pretty close to full power except for the limited Exosister packs, but doesn't really matter because Exosister can pretty much have a lot of give and have a really solid board. that allows you to shut down your opponent's plays and set up a really decent Magnifica OTK here. So that's really powerful. So if you want a really solid combo deck that can run a lot of hand traps, Exosister is really good. So next up we have Runick. So yes, Runick is somehow still playable because all you lose is a Gary and you have 3 Hugin and 3 Moonin. And then you can just add Inspector Border to pretty much prevent your opponent from doing much. And let's get to the deck. So this is a pretty toxic stun deck. If you have Runic cards, I'd recommend that you can give this a try and pretty much shut down a lot of opponents' boards. You're gonna annoy a lot of players and you're gonna pretty much banish a lot of decks with this one. So that's pretty crazy. So we're gonna go with the Runic cards here. 2 Fountain, 2 Tip to search the Fountain, 3 Flashing Fire, 2 Runic Destruction, 2 Freezing Curses, 2 Slumber, and 3 Smiting Storm, 3 Golden Droplet, and then 2 Dispelling. So just max out or pretty much have a lot of Runic spells for the banish effects and allow you to summon Runic monsters like Hugin, which allows you to add Fountain, and Moonin, which allows you to keep going and just increase your life points every turn. Inspector Border is just here to stand and look scary and pretty much stun your opponent. Nibiru, just in case you go second, this is really good. You just wipe your opponent's board with it. And then for the card draws, you have Card of Demise and Prosperity just to make your deck a bit more consistent. We added this Solemn package, so Solemn Judgment and Solemn Strike, just in case our opponent decides to do something funny and try some back row removal. So you can Solemn that away. Power Sink Stone is pretty much a skill drain at home, but still really powerful. You can shut down monster effects with this. Soul Drain, which shuts down graveyard effects and prevents monsters from banish effects from also triggering. And then Mind Drain, just to shut down hand traps. So pretty much if you have this is a pretty good stun deck. Really powerful, and if you want to have some quick games in the event, I think Runick is one of those decks that can do that. Speaking of, another deck that can annoy the opponent, you have Eldlich. So Eldlich allows you to have a ton of trap cards and then extra consistency cards here. So for the Eldlich engine, you have 2 Golden Lord, 3 Eldland, 1 White Destiny, 1 Black Awakening, 3 Scarlet Sanguine, a Golden Land Forever, 1 Guardian, 3 Hawkero, and 2 Conquistador just for the extra disruption. For the other traps here, you have Torrential, which is a board wipe, Ice Dragon's Prison, which allows you to banish 2 monsters from your opponent, Solid Package, 1 Judgment, 2 Strike, just in case. Floodgates, we have 2 Power Sink Stone, and then 2 Soul Drain, which pretty much shuts down. The extra deck here is just whatever, so you can have a lot of options here. And then you have Pot of Extravagance and Prosperity for the search and consistency draws. And then you have Nibiru, just in case your opponent is playing a combo deck from the dark side. So yeah, if you want another deck that has really good power level and pretty decent, if you're pretty low on budget, Eldlich is pretty cheap here. You can replace some of the URs here with SRs and rares. You just have 2 Golden Lords as your URs and you're still pretty fine. Now next up, arguably my favorite deck here, it's Dinomorphia. So Dinomorphia, we're kind of worried that Dinomorphia might get hit hard in the Light vs. Dark event because it's pretty powerful in that attribute. However, the only hits here are 2 Domain and 2 Frenzy. So Dinomorphia is a pretty powerful fusion deck that has decent hand trap and tech space. You can run 9 hand traps here. 2 DD Crow, 3 Skullmeister. 3 Crow. And then 3 Imperm. So for disruption. For the Dinomorphia monsters, you have Dinomorphia Theresia, and for 3 of those, and then 2 Diplos. 2 Fossil Dig for searching your dinos. 2 Pot of Duality for the extra consistency, alongside 1 Pot of Prosperity. Called by the grave because your opponent is gonna have a lot of hand traps, so that's really insane. For the Dinomorphia traps, you have 2 domain, so this is your branded fusion. 2 frenzy, this is also your branded fusion. And then you have 2 alert for for pretty much your monster reborn, extra consistency. 1 brute for removal, and then 1 sonic for a spell trap negate. And then the rest of the traps here, 3 Fair Flames, pretty much a Dinomorphia card, honorary Dinomorphia card, which allows you to remove your opponent's board easily. You have 2 Trap Trick for extra consistency to allow you to search more normal traps in your deck. 1 Solemn Judgment, you want a really powerful negate just in case. 2 Debunk for preventing hand traps or graveyard effects. And 3 Solemn Strike, which allows you to just shut down monster effects or special summons. Now for the extra deck, we have 3 Cantrogena, your main boss monster that allows you to set up your Dinomorphia plays easily. 3 Stealthbergia, who's just really there for fusion material, but has a decent burn effect, just in case you need it. And Rexterm is your walking skill drain / attack debuffer, which allows you to just shut down your opponent's plays every now and then. And then next we have Chaos Angel. You can make Chaos Angel using Dinomorphia Theresa or Diplos, plus a level 6 like Kent or Stealthbergia. Time Thief Redoer, just a generic rank 4 that's pretty good, that allows you to grind harder. 1 Codebreaker Virus Swordsman for generic link 2, same with Dark. You can crash Dark and search one of your Dinomorphia monsters, really good. Nightmare Unicorn for just generic links, and Access Code Talker for the same thing. So these are just generic stuff. But if you want a really good dark deck that has potential to pretty much have a great time in the event, I think Dinomorphia has that chance, and that's really good. And last but definitely not the least, we have Tearlaments. Yes, so Tearlaments can somehow work in this event. You just have to add a bit more stuff to make it to make their graveyard fusions more consistent. So you don't have Rule Colossus here, but it doesn't matter because you have a decent pool of fusions. You even have DPE here. You have Fallen of Albaz, which works like a super poly with Albion here. But let's go to the Tearlament card. So 2 Murray, 2 Havnis, 2 Shiren. You don't have Rhinoheart here, but it's fine, because you're going to be aided by Danger Engine, which has 3 Jackalope, 3 Tsuchinoko, 3 Nessie, and 1 Mothman. I don't know why 1 Mothman is limited, but hey, we have a Mothman here. And then for extra Foolish Burials, you have Armageddon Knight, which is pretty good, and the aforementioned Fallen of Albaz, which is your super poly. Really decent. You have Shadal Beast here. No Winda, but I want this here for the draw 1. This is the Hero Malicious. You have your materials for DPE alongside Denier. And then for the tech here, you have Foolish Burial, Reinforcement of the Army, and Foolish Burial Goods, just for extra consistency. Anti-Hand Trap with Called by the Grave. And then for the Tearlaments cards, 3 Grief, 1 Pergarino, 3 Scream, 1 Heartbeat for removal, 1 Meta Noise for Book of Moon, and then Tearlaments Crime for pretty much a really powerful Omni Negate here. So yeah, really powerful deck. It might not be in the full power like the usual regular Tearlaments, but it's really good. For the extra deck, you have Kitkalos, which is like the heart and soul of Tearlaments, allows you to start your plays. 2 Dragos Tapelia, because you're gonna be able to run this pretty neatly. 1 Albion for your Albaz super poly target. DPE for, extra grind game, and DPE, you kind of miss DPE. You can also use Verted to summon DPE. Kaleido Heart, which allows you to shuffle back a card and have a really powerful boss monster. Grapha, which is a pretty powerful negate. And then you have Time Thief Redoer, just for extra grind game, and you can pretty much send a Shiren to graveyard and trigger that. IP Masquerena for your disruption going first. Barricade Board Blocker just to link climb. Dark for the same reason. You can go into Nightmare Unicorn for another disruption. Topologic Bomber Dragon just to blow up your opponent's field. You can also trigger Tearlaments effects that way. And then lastly, an access code talker. So we end with Tearlaments here. But if you want to try Tearlaments and see if it can still hang in the event, I think this is the best way to do it. Danger Tier was a thing in OCG and TCG, although that was pretty full power tier or close to full power without the Ishizus. So yeah, this can still work. But yeah, that's it for the light versus dark event decks. And if you have any other deck suggestions, you can leave it in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, you can leave a like. You can share this video for more people to know what decks to run during the event. And you can also subscribe to the channel. That helps the channel grow. That would be really awesome. But for now, that's it for the best light versus dark event decks in Master Duel. And that has been the video. And I'll see you on the next one. And thank you for watching. And bye, guys.